All right. Let's see. Lovely. Here we go. We are back for round 2 of the season. Here at Silverstone. Look at it, pouring down in qualifying. Absolutely full wet conditions, heavy rain. That's well, that's one way to start off qualifying. But we're back for Broke Boys Tier 3. Last week we had the season opener in Brazil with Tolu winning the first round of the season, thus being the championship leader, ahead of Wardy, Jesus in P3, Stadios P4 and Parzival in P5. So that's the championship going into this round, and Williams being the leaders in the constructors, 3 points ahead of McLaren and 6 ahead of Ferrari. But we're going to start off qualifying. Let's see, and it is indeed full wet conditions. Not sure what the forecast is for the race. Personally, I don't mind rain, but that's a personal preference. I think one of the Haas cars going out first. It is More Plays, who just got his full-time seat today with Haas after Tai Murky dropped out, being inactive. And he's the first one to go out in these treacherous conditions. His teammate also out, as well as Carnotaur. So yeah, the rain really evens out the grid. And the grades will be on top, like we saw in real life a couple of days ago. But More Plays already going a bit wide through Cops Corner. Great Britain, or the United Kingdom, of course, known for wet weather. And it's no different today. Absolutely pouring it down. We're gonna ride on board with More Plays, and well, everyone already going out quite early, so I think it's not gonna be getting any better than in qualifying, at least. Let's see what he can do. Very first lap time. Already sliding a bit coming out of the final corner and into turn 1, which is usually flat out, but in the full wet it's far from full throttle. Sliding around and into, I think it's Village, slightly missing the apex. Onto the Wellington straight, if I'm not mistaken. Down into Love with Purple first sector, obviously being the first car out there. Now the run to Cops Corner, which is full throttle in the dry. Oof, just throwing the car in and ultimately going a bit wide, but not invalidating, so he slowed down enough. Game to recognize he did not gain any time with it, and he's struggling as well through maggots and backets. Already tricky in the dry, let alone in the wet. But he's keeping the car within the white line somewhat. Still have a valid lap thus far. And to stow into the final chicane to end off the lap. And we're gonna find out what the first lap time is gonna be. Across the line, a 142.2. That's around 15-17 seconds slower than dry conditions. Carter across the line, half a second off in the Sauber. Haza in P3 with a 0.8. His teammate for tonight, Skinner, a reserve driver. What can he do? Partsville P4, Skinner to the top with a 140.8. That's quite the distance to second place already, 1.4 seconds. The Madman into the top 3 as well. Josh Bushman slots in behind his teammate. Then we've got the 2 Aston Martins. Steele's about to start his lap. Jumping Peter jumps up to second place into the 41s, but what a lap by Skinner. Skolkiller to the top with a 140.5. What a lap from Skolkiller, and on provisional pole position. Wow, and by quite the distance to some of these drivers. Alpha Wall up to P4. But Skolkiller on top after the first few laps, and at the moment nobody's measuring unless except Soul Demon on the intermediates. So the Inters do seem to be the faster tire, and 40.1. Despite it being incredibly wet, Tolu was not able to get anywhere near that. He's on the Inters as well. The winner of last week. He's over a second slower on the same tire. Let's take a look at the tires actually. So those are the only 2 on intermediates who have set laps. True Sterry is about to finish his lap. Let's see what he can do on the Inters. Forza Sterry across the line, and a 141.4 is good enough to put him into the top 5. The rest of them all on full wets, and KOR 30 is about to start his lap on intermediates as well. But invalidates immediately into turn 1. Madman across the line, a 1.4 second improvement. Josh Boschman up into the top 3 as well. Really about getting those laps in. I do think the track is getting a little bit less wet, or the rain intensity is getting less than it was at the beginning of the session. So we might switch over completely to intermediates come the end of the session. Actually already with Soul in P1, his teammate, or in Exotic pulls right up to the front row as well. Only a couple of hundredths off. So good start of the session for the boys at V-Carb. Place at the moment down in P15, but he's improving by almost a second. See if he can find any more time in the final couple of corners. Very tricky, very slow in these conditions, very easy to spin out the rears. Across the line, not an improvement. I think he backed off in the end. 30 about to start another lap. He invalidated his first attempt, and now he's going to try again. Olaf Botant, one of the drivers who is yet without a lap time. He's looking to make an end to that as he rounds the final corner. On the full wets in the Alpine across the line at 140.6. That's a very good first lap. And good enough to put him into the top 4. Skullkiller once again improves his lap time and is back onto professional pole position, and the first one to go into 1:39s, despite being on the full wet. So Skullkiller is absolutely flying in these conditions. Could we see something magical today here at Mercedes? His teammate Brennan has just got out, still without a lap time. At the moment it's a Mercedes sandwich with a Skullkiller at the top. But not for long, because Tolu on the intermediates goes faster by 3/10. 1:39.6. Last race's winner, can he go for back-to-backs? Was on the front row last race, not on pole position, but on the front row. And he was able to win it. Stelios was the one who got pole position, but could not finish it on the podium in the end. Purdy this time is able to set a lap time across the line into the 1:39, so almost 1:40.005. Very good banker lap. Into the top 3 he goes. And Toots Terry across the line, and he goes on to provisional pole position, half a second quicker than Tolu. A very good lap, 39.1 in the Ferrari. Simniak has gone up to 7th place. Now the only driver without a lap time is Rip Brennan at the moment. Into Cops corner, throwing the car in, just drifting a little bit wide, but no invalidation. So lucky to get away with that. Few drivers on intermediates, but the majority deciding to stay out on these wets. Despite 4 of the top 5 having set their laps on inters. So are we going to see anyone else go on to the intermediates? Verbannen at the moment is on intermediates, so the graph is not completely up to date. Alpha ball on inters as well, so there might be more cars out on inters than this graph is currently showing. Across the line, Rip Brennan, and his banker lap is going to be good enough to put him on provisional pole position by 4 thousandths of a second. But talk about a banker lap. 1:39.181. Alpha ball now down to P20, but he's on almost a 2-second improvement. That's the difference the intermediates make. Cross the line up into the top 3 with a 39.3 as well. Skinner with a massive improvement might go on to provisional pole position, 2.2 seconds off. He's only 1.6 behind Brennan across the line at 1:37.9. What a lap from Skinner, over a second clear of anyone. As the times really start to drop, the conditions keep getting better. As Parzival has gone up to P6. Then we look at to Sauers. Carnotaur is on an outlap, about to start his lap. Josh Boschman is he on an improvement? I think he is. As Ferdy now onto the front row, misses out by 66 thousandths of a second. What can Josh Boschman do to cross the line? 38.2, and he's 2/10 off Skinner at the moment, but into the top 3. It's hard to tell who's going to be on pole position with times constantly dropping. Gonna have to keep an eye out on basically everyone. As Paul's Ray to the top with a 37.9. The gap's getting closer at the top. Only half a tenth in between, and Sol now to the top, and he goes 9 tenths quicker than his teammate. What a lap into the 36s. Aston Martin's quite far down the order. As Jumpy Painter comes into the pit lane. Stales is in P19. The pole sitter from the previous race. I think he is trying to improve. Is there anyone out there on an improvement? Haza has invalidated. Carnotaur is now on improvement as well, down in P18, 4.6 seconds off. But he is going to change that in a few seconds time. P18 will become P6 right behind his teammate. 138 as well. Both sliding across the line onto provisional pole position with quite a margin, 3.5 tenths, 36.6. Is there anyone else? Brennan into P3. But the gap's quite big between Bolton and Soul Demon compared to the rest of the top 10. And what can Stadios do across the line? First lap on intermediates, good enough to put him into P7. And Wardy now into P3, but still 1.1 second off Bolton's time. What a lap that has been. 2.5 minutes remaining in the session. Is it going to be good enough? Every time, man, shit rain. I really like the rain actually, but that's just me, I guess. The parts of all coming out of the final corner, we can really see the dry line forming despite it still raining. Across the line, 37.6. Still a second off, but he is into P3. And that's Carnotaur going in, and he will not be improving his time. As Madman has invalidated, unfortunately. It's going to be 1:39. And Josh Boschman now into the top 3. Getting a bit closer to the top 2. Twitch Terry as well, to the front row. Very good lap. And Toru now goes to pole position with a 1:36.5, and Paul Stray immediately beats that by almost 3 tenths of a second. 0.2 it is. 1 minute remaining in the session. You really want to be the final car out there to cross the line right before the flag falls. And Skolker is back down to P15. He was on the front row a couple of times during this session. As Carnotaur unfortunately retires from the session, he will not be able to improve. .40 seconds remain. Who's going to be the last car to start their lap? I think it might be Haza in the Red Bull, unless Madman is going to be able to get it done within 20 seconds. I'm not sure if he can. It might be very close actually. He is going to be the first one to improve though. 10 seconds remaining. Toru, Both out as well. They're not going to be able to improve. So at the moment it's Paul's Ray on provisional pole position. Can anyone beat his lap time? Hatman goes a little bit wide. Across the line. The flag has fallen. He is across the line into P7. And Josh Washman not able to improve. Stays in 6th position. And then we look at Skolkiller down in P15 at the moment. Going to be the next to cross the line, P16. That has turned into a cross the line. Skolkiller on the provisional pole position with 1:35.8. And is anyone going to be able to beat that? Alpha High Ball is up next, down in P17, and don't think it's quite able to beat that. Across the line though, P9. Up next is Brennan, teammate of Skullkiller, across the line. What can he do? P5, very solid effort. Then we look at Stelios across the line. Only good enough for P10 in the end. And Jumpy Painter up to P8. And Skinner to the front row, but not quite able to match Skullkiller by half a tenth of a second. And I think we just have to wait, as Pulse Ray has invalidated. So it's only 30, Parzival and Zimniak who can try and deny Skullkiller from pole position. 30 across the line, P5. Parzival across the line. P11, Zimniak across the line. What does it be? I couldn't quite see it in time. P4 and Skullkiller is on pole position in Silverstone. Absolutely magnificent. Incredible. Skullkiller on pole position. That is unbelievable stuff. By half a tenth of a second to Skinner and Pulse Ray in P3, but wow, who would have expected that? That's honestly insane. No fucking way. Zimniak in P4, then it's the two Williams of Tolu and 30. Bello Boton, Rip Brennan, George Derby and Soul Demon rounding out the top 10, but what a qualifying that was. Insane. Absolutely insane. As the race appears to be dry, at least the start of it, it's pretty cloudy, so not sure if it's going to stay that way. Let's see the rest of the grid. Jumpy Painter in P11, ahead of Parzival P12, Josh Boschman, Madman, Status P15 after getting pole position last week. Not quite qualifying he would be hoping for. Then the two McLarens all the way down in P16 and 17. Haza at P18, Carnator in P19 and more players in P20. It's really a mixed up grid for this race. It's going to make it many times more exciting than it already is. As we will get this race going in 3 minutes time. It could be anyone's race. P3, yeah, it is very good. Very good, mate. Can certainly work from that. You know, yesterday in Tier 2, I qualified P6 and won the race, so anything can happen. And it usually does in in Tier 3. In just under 2 minutes time. Over 2 minutes time actually. Gonna find out who is gonna win. I'm not quite sure where our championship leader lines up. P5. So we can already start to see the tire choice of everyone. Skullkiller and Skinner both starting on the mediums. And I think medium softs is definitely the better strategy around here. If the race is completely dry. Certainly seemed to be the winning strategy yesterday. In Tier 2 we had a completely dry race. So championship leader Todo starts in P5. It is next rival, Wardy, P17. Jesus is also absent as well, so the championship could be blown wide open today. Should be getting going anytime soon now. .28 local time. 8:28 in the UK. Let's have a good one indeed. And here we go. Skullkiller on pole position. What can he do? As we wait to see the 5 red lights, and they're out very quickly, and it's not a good start from Skullkiller. Skinner immediately able to get past, and Pulse Ray already up the inside as well, so Skullkiller from pole position down to P3, even before turn 1. He's got Zimniak behind into P4, having a look up the inside into turn 1. Ooh, and one of the Ferraris going off in the background as Skinner holds on to the lead, ahead of Pulse Ray. Then it's 30 up to P3, side by side with Zimniak. Skullkiller all the way down to P5. Not the start he would have hoped for, but 3 cars in front are on the soft, so that could explain their advantage at the start. Jumpy Painter behind Skullkiller as well on the softs, having a look up the inside. Oh, bit of contact between the two, as Pulse Ray is going wheel to wheel with Zimniak. Into Cops corner. We're not going to go 3 wide, are we? No, fortunately enough we are not. And I think Madman had a moment in the background, has lost quite a bit of time, and is down to 20 position. Wardy as well, having a poor stunt. And don't forget about Tolu down to P18. What has happened to our championship leader? Hammers 1 and 2 in the championship are P18 and P19 even before the end of the first lap, as Skinner leads the field on mediums, ahead of Pulse Ray and Zimniak. Then it's 30, and Jumpy Painter goes around the outside of Skullkiller and jumps up to P4. Contact between Pulse Ray and Zimniak, or 30, not sure. It's chaos in this final corner. Through goes Skullkiller up to P4, and they're still going at it, almost 3 wide onto the Hamilton straight. And into turn 1, still 30 and Pulse Ray going at it. Zimniak, because of that, has now jumped up to 2nd place. Jumpy Painter up to P3. And that's one of the McLarens going up the inside. And, oh, what an once again contact with Pulse Ray, this time with 30. Got R5 ball behind and Josh Boschman. As Skinner has already pulled a little bit of a gap at the front. 8 to 9 tenths to Zimniak. Despite tire disadvantage. Skinner still leads already, a 3-second penalty. What's going on at the back? Tuchterry and Stadios fighting it out at the back end. So it's been quite a chaotic start for some of these drivers, trying to find the setting. There we go. 10-second penalty for Soul Demon. That's a very rough penalty, but Tolu down 12. Tuchterry down 6 as well. And Soul Demon lost 4 positions. Brannin down 4 as well. The Mercedes not really having the best of starts, nor has Pulse Ray after lap 1. Jumpy Painter has jumped from P11 to P3 after 2 laps now completed. Zimniak sets the fastest lap of the race. Gonna be one big DRS train, which certainly at the moment is from P1 all the way down to P19, still within 1 second of each other. Skinner leads the way. Zimniak closing the gap, and Jumpy Painter in the braking zone as well, getting really close to the back of the Alpine. And the mid corner, that's where their tires really come to play. Wheel to wheel into Cobb's corner almost. Josh Bushman gets past Alpha Ball, but he's now got a 1.1 second gap to Paul's race. Is he going to be able to close that before the DRS detection point? I don't think he is. So could we see already a top 7 forming as a DRS train? Oh, Battle Boatent already with a 3-second penalty. That's not great very early on into the race. Simniak closing the gap to Skinner as Battle Boatent goes up the inside of Skoker and gets past up into P4 and 30, trying to go the long way around the outside of Skoker, the wheel to wheel. Who's going to have the upper hand? Oh, what is that? That was almost seemed a bit intentional there by 30 to hit the side of the Mercedes. But he loses out quite a few positions because of it, down to P12. Oh, Skoker was left. What has happened? Oh, what is happening? A bit glitched, I think, at the moment, but Skoker being disconnected. That's the last thing you wanted to see from pole position. That's very unlucky. Meanwhile, at the front, still Skinner in first position, with Simniak in hot pursuit. 2 tenths separating the two of them. Both Mercedes having a bit of trouble, I think. He's rejoined. I'll hope for him that he's still going to be somewhat in a competitive train, but that really could have ruined his chances of a good result today. We now got a definitive top 4 now, and Zimniak is going to take the lead on lap 4. Gets past Skinner, but I don't think he's going to be able to run away with it. That's the fastest lap of the race as well, and Boatent has lost connection to the top 3, so there's just 3 of them now. Zimniak, Skinner and Jumpy Painter are the leading top 3. The leading group as well. And Skinner is going to try and re-overtake, and with the help of DRS is able to get in front. And on lap 5, Skinner is back into the lead. Whoa, and Zimniak hitting the back of the Red Bull and getting all out of shape himself. Now being under pressure from Jumpy Painter. Ooh, and Skoker's retired from the session. That's quite unfortunate, as we see Alpha Ball making contact with Josh Bushman. I'm not sure what happened to Skoker then. Unfortunately, being forced to retire very early on. Also having a 3-second time penalty. Absolute scrap and a half here in the midfield, or the back end of the top 10. Parsifal gets past and is up at the P6. Bit of contact between these 4 cars. Alpha Ball trying to do the long way around the outside. That will be an incredible move. Skoker has rejoined, but it's too late. Unfortunately, he's out of the race. Very sad to see from pole position. Birdie having a look on the inside of Alpha Ball. The second Mercedes having trouble as well. Brennan has now left. I'll try to re-invite him. Both Mercedes drivers having issues. Not what you want to see. At the front end, it's still Skinner ahead of Zimniak and Jumpy Painter. It's a 2-second gap to Paul's Ray has got past Val of Boat on P4 it is now for him. Parzival and Josh Bushman going at it once again. And into the pit lane goes 30 in the Williams. Is he going to be able to get it slowed down? Yes, he is. That's quite an early pit stop on lap 7 of this race. And is he going to go for the mediums or the hards? And it's a set of hards going underneath the Williams. See him to the end of this race. Zimniak right at the back of Skinner. He knows that this is not a place to overtake. Staying behind just a little bit longer. Onto the hanger straight. He's got DRS assistance. I think he chooses to stay behind for now and save the DRS. There's no point in fighting this early into the race. Once again going wheel to wheel Boschman and Parzival. This time just Boschman is the one in front. Going into the braking zone of Club. And he's into P6 with the gap to the cars in front. 3 seconds already wheel to wheel into the final corner. Half 5 wall and more plates. And the McLaren is in front of the Haas. And right behind these two is Tolu. Our championship leader started in P5. Was all the way down in P18 at the end of lap 1. But has worked his way back up to the field. And he's now back into the top 10. Parzival up the inside. And has got past into P6. His teammate in this race, Toots Terry, trying to get past Soul Demon. But he is now under pressure from Stados as well, trying to go around the outside into Cobb's corner. Surely not, and it does not work out. Does not quite have the grip to go the long way around the outside. Has to stay behind for now. Ooh, going off is Soul Demon, and he rejoins behind the entire group basically, and that promotes Toots Terry up to P11. Haas at the P12 as he gets past Stados in the braking zone. Aston Martin keeps his nose in on the inside. Oh, bit of contact. Oh, that could have ended very badly. But fortunately enough it did it, but Haas losing a lot of time. And that's Wardy up the inside, not quite. And Wardy is now actually under pressure from Soul Demon wheel to wheel into turn 1. Very close for contact. But Wardy able to stay in front for now. Fighting it out once again, Wardy and Soul. Right behind the Red Bull. Wardy seems to be struggling a bit in this race. Whoa, Soul almost attempting to go around the outside into Cobbs. Got much more grip and confidence it seems. But throw his car into the corners. As Bell Boden has re-overtaken Paul's Ray and into the braking zone. Parzival and Boschman once again. Alpha Volt, Tolu and more place has gone wide, and I think he's lost 2 positions in the process. And I think Tolu has gained 2 positions. He's up at the P8 in the background. I think that's Toots Terry going into the pit lane. He is on lap 10. We attempt an undercut, because he's in a lot of traffic. He was in a lot of traffic before coming in. And he will be going on to a set of mediums. I'll have to do 17 laps on those. Back to this trio here from P12, 13 and 14. Sol has not got a lot of ERS in his battery. Now into maggots and baggots. McLaren seems to be slightly quicker, and is he going to go for the move? With the DRS close to the outside and up at the P12. Need to swapping positions, and that's contact between Paul's-Ray and Balloboten, and Paul's-Ray has got ahead. But the Alpine keeps nosing, and round the outside he goes. And into turn 1, Balloboten is back in front. And into P4. Paul's-Ray still fighting it out, despite being on these worn out softs at this point. Fighting it out once again, and has re-overtaken Wardy then. Back into P12. We're having a nose in on the inside is Sol, and Carnator has closed the gap to these three as well. Now it's a bit of a train forming behind the Red Bull. Once again fighting it out, but this time Paul's-Ray is able to get past without any contact. And he's back into P4, but certainly struggling on these tires. 11 laps he's done already on them. And the Alpine is right behind onto the main straight. Almost pushing him to the first two corners. Both of them already with a track limit penalty. Ooh, big tank slapper from Balloboten as well. Now it's got the DRS, but will stay behind. And Parzival, Josh Boschman, and Toru have closed the gap. Alpha Eyeball in there as well, and more plays. Just need to swap positions once again. Haza has got back ahead of Wardy, so Wardy must have got ahead of him on the hanger straight at the end of the lap. They've swapped around once more. There's quite a train forming then behind Paul's-Ray. 6 cars to be exact. And that's a lead change. Zimniak has got past Skinner on lap 12. Zimniak retakes the lead. And is going to pull into the pit lane immediately. Same for Jumpy Painter. Watch out for the pit lane speed limit. So numbers 1 and 3 in this race putting into the pit lane at the end of lap 12. Skinner continues on the mediums. And that has promoted Balloboten up to P2 as Paul's-Ray has gone in as well. Wardy also in from the mediums. So he's going to go to hards then. Oh no, he's going off the softs. So optimistic strategy then. 14 laps on the softs. Paul's-Ray, Jumpy Painter and Zimniak all onto the mediums. Jumpy Painter's lost quite a bit of time to Zimniak, 2.2 seconds. He was right behind him when they pitted. Wheel to win into Cobb scored a Tolu and Josh Bosman. And Tolu got past, but there was a bit of contact between the two of them. Tolu on the inside and Josh Bosman trying to hang it around the outside. The one usually does not go into Cobb's corner as Parzival has got past Bella Boten up at the P2 and Tolu having a look up the inside and making contact with the Alpine, and Tolu is round down to P7, down to P8, and Bella Boten has lost one position, but Tolu makes contact with the Alpine and is sent all the way down to P12 and is going to dive straight into the pit lane. But that's massive for the championship already so early on in the season, as the championship is really blown wide open. As Toto is down the order, Wardy's down the order, Stados is down the order, so could become a very good day for Parzival in the championship, currently in P5. As Toots sets the fastest lap of the race, and a lot of drivers going on to softs. Now Alpha Ball has just pitted as well. He's come out in P12, Tolu down in P17. After that painful collision with Balov Botond, and that's created a gap for Parzival actually, 1.5. Skinner is out in the lead by over 4 seconds now. But he still has to pit. Well, Zimniak and Jumpy Painter both have pitted already. When is he going to dive into the pit lane, our race leader? And he is going to dive into the pit lane right now on lap 14. Skinner into the pit lane. Slows it right down. He's not the only one. Parzival in as well, and Belov Botond, and Morse Blaze, and Josh Bosman, and Stados, and has the entire top 7 into the pit lane. Madman is going to be the first one to stay out. But where is Skinner going to come out compared to Zimniak and Jumping Painter? It's a long pit lane. I believe it's the longest on the calendar. In the background we can see Zimniak into turn 1, and I think Zimniak is going to take the virtual race lead, and Skinner is going to come out right in between the two of them. So Zimniak ahead of Skinner by a mere 2 seconds, and Jumpy Painter is within the DRS range of Skinner, which could help him to try and close the gap to Zimniak. So Skinner is going to be quicker with these tires. The Ferdy and Wardy going wheel to wheel, and Wardy has got past and he's now into the top 10 with only Madman yet to pit. Ferdy losing out another position. He pitted very early onto the hards, and with all these guys here around on fresh softs, it's going to be no competition. Another penalty for Paul Stray, unfortunately. He is in P5. But if he keeps this up, he's not going to finish anywhere near that come the end of the race, as Madman continues to stay out for another lap. Probably hoping for a safety car or a virtual safety car, so he wouldn't lose as much time with pitting, and more penalties start dropping. Sol and Carnator as well. Tolu setting the fastest lap of the race, but he's down in P17, so that's not going to gain him any more points. As per this season, you have to finish inside the top 10 to be eligible for and 1 extra point for the fastest lap. It used to be the top 15 last season, but it has changed to just the top 10. go get our only retirement. He is going to get 1 point though for pole position. One of the other changes to the points system. But he is obviously going to be disappointed. 4 laps out of this race. They've got 19 cars in competition after 16 laps. It's looking quite good so far. But you're having a look up the inside of More Place, and More Place doing a very good job in this race. This P9 has got the best tires of anyone, well, except for Haasa and a few others who have pitted on the same lap as him. Going for a good points finish today. Ooh, and there is the move for the virtual lead. Skinner has already got past Zimniak with still 9 laps to go, and can now create a gap to Zimniak. That's gonna be very important, because Zimniak will have the tire advantage in the end if... well, he's gonna have the tire advantage in the end regardless, because the mediums will last longer than the softs, but for Skinner it's gonna be key to try and create a gap and pull away from Zimniak, but that is very difficult to do around this track. The 2 DRS zones. And Zimniak is going to have a go actually. He's going to try and re-overtake Skinner. And he's back ahead of the Red Bull. Up into 2nd place on track. Madman still yet to pit. 17 laps on these mediums. Still staying out. But oh, Zimniak is back ahead of Skinner. I'm not sure what's going on then between these two, but he is now ahead. Yellow flags are out, and that's Tolu. Tolu has gone off for the 2nd time in this race. It's really the complete opposite of last week, where he won his 2nd ever race, and he's got a 10-second penalty for exceeded track limit. That's a bit pointless. Could probably get that removed if you wanted, but he's down at P19, so it's not looking good for our championship leader. And it's not looking good for our championship leaders in the constructors either, because 30 is down in P15, struggling on these old hards. And Williams at the moment only going to be scoring 1 point. Two Saubers swap positions. Josh Bosman ahead of Carnotaur. P13, ooh, and that's two series gone off. A little bit wide. It's got front wing damage actually. So that might explain why he went a little bit wide there. Seedorf is able to get past because of that. And is the Ferrari gonna go into the pit lane? No, he is not. Staying out. And 30's gone into the pit lane. He's got a 10-second penalty and is retired from the session. It's, well, Williams' day has gone from bad to worse. 2nd retirement in this race. And his teammate is putting into the pit lane as well. And, well, 1, 2, 3, there we go, retired from the race. Double retirement for Williams, for the championship leaders. In both drivers and constructors. 0 points, as Soul Demon and Brennan are fighting it out for the wooden spoon, P16 in this race. You have to fight for something. Brennan around the outside. And so back up the inside as Skinner has taken the lead on track. Zimniak up to second place, and I wouldn't be surprised if Madman is going to pull into the pit lane, or is he not? Staying out still on these 19 lap old mediums. Desperately hoping for a safety car. And Battle of Boton and Pulse Ray going at it once again, not the first time in this race, and Battle of Boton losing out a little bit. Ooh, contact between himself and Alpha Ball, and Parsifal says thank you very much, and is able to get past up to P7, and is virtually in P5, with two cars in front having penalties, and he's getting past off Pulse Ray into turn 3 as well. Nice move. Around the outside, up into P6. But it was Battle of Boton actually having a 3 wide into Lovett. That's not gonna go well, surely not. But it is, somehow. And Pulse Ray is able to get ahead of the Alpine. And Parsifal now having a look as well, trying to get past both of them. Because he got past Battle of Boton now up the inside. Going into Cop's corner, and Parsifal, is he gonna take the position? Or contact between Battle of Boton and Pulse Ray. And they have both gone off. And Battle of Boton has come off worst of the two of them. Yeah, you could see that happening from absolute miles away. These two have been going at it very aggressively this entire race. In the end, they come together, and Battle of Boton is down to P14, Pulse Ray down to P9. And that has promoted Wardy up to P6 from 17th on the grid. A crazy comeback drive for our P2 in the championship. And will probably take the lead of the championship after this race. As more players has retired from the session, 4th retirement. I'm going to give that final point to Brandon. And Wardy gets past. And he's now up at the P5 with 6 laps to go. Madman still going strong on these mediums. So actually Wardy will be P4 after all that. From 17th to P4. Quite the comeback drive. Certainly is one of the quickest drivers in this field. And he proves that time after time. I think last season we had a great race around here as well at Silverstone. I think he won that one. Not quite sure. Can't quite remember, but Parsifal is getting past. Oh, and did they make contact? I think they made contact, Parsifal and Wardy. And Wardy's now dropped behind his teammate down to P8 as Madman finally decides to come into the pit lane. Oh, contact, more contact, and round goes Alpha Hype Wall with front wing damage. It was Parsifal making contact with, I think, Stelios. And he half spun, and then the McLarens collided, and Alpha Hype Wall has got front wing damage and spun around. And that's high drama here on lap 22 of 26. And Wardy is now out of the DRS of Parsifal. Just was talking about him. And Josh Washman gets past now and is up into 6th position. Oh, that's a commentator's curse at its finest. Madman, because of a pit stop, drops all the way down to P13. Can he go for the fastest lap though? That's the question. Going to be a good day for Aston Martin if they keep this up. P3 and P4. At the moment they are 4th in the championship, but they might be able to get into the lead. Actually, with Alpha Hype now down to P12, Williams scoring no points, and Ferrari are behind both Astons as well, as Zimniak has retaken the lead with 4 laps to go. Alpha ball into the pit lane. Is he going to retire or is he going to try and go for the fastest lap? Going to be able to get the point. We'll have to replace his front wing and probably will come out in P16. Ray is also pitted and he might go for the fastest lap. Zimniak leads ahead of Skinner. And these two are going to be fighting it out for the win. With 3.5 laps to go. Will Zimniak get the tire advantage in the end? 8 laps. Old are these softs compared to 10 lap old mediums. Should be around the same tire weights. Parzival has got ahead of Stelios, but not for long because I think Stelios is going to have a go around the outside into Stowe. The long way around the outside, contact between the two of them, and Parzival losing out a lot of time as Wardy and Boschman going at it as well. And Wardy gets past. It's back into 6th position. Also close the gap now to Parzival and Stelios, so P4 is still very much in the game for both of these actually. Unless Parzival gets out of the DRS of Stelios. At the moment it's, well, very close. Is he within or is he out of it? He does not have the DRS right now. But neither does Wardy. Or he does actually. Gonna be close. It's gonna be very close. 3 laps to go. Skinner is right behind the Alpine. Is he going to stay behind? I think that's the tactical thing you want to do around here. Stay behind until this very same straight on the final lap. As Josh Bushman has got past Wardy again, they are both out of the DRS of Parzival and Stelios. So all their good work has become undone. And they're going to be fighting it out for P6, it seems like. And fair play to George Terry, is holding on despite being on older mediums and with the front wing damage. Putting on a very strong performance regardless. Very good job. At the moment we'll finish in P8. And these two are just having fun out here on for P14 in this race. Brennan and Sol, they've been fighting pretty much for the last 10 laps now. And there we go, Al5 Wall, fastest lap of the race, but he's not going to get the point because he's outside the top 10. So, oh, Zimniak with a 3-second penalty on the penultimate lap. No way, it's going to be decided by that. So Skinner is not going to have to overtake anyway, because Zimniak got the 3-second penalty. So unless Skinner gets a penalty himself, it's going to be a pretty easy win then for Skinner and Red Bull. That's very unfortunate to see it end like that. Sure want to see it decided on track as we go now onto the final lap of this race. Zimniak is our race leader, but he will not win with this penalty. Jumpy Painter is very safe in P3. Stelios, his teammate, well, not safe at all. He's got 4 cars behind him within the DRS range. And Parzival is going to be overtaking him already. And he's into P4. We switch our attention to the 2 cars in front, Zimniak and Skinner. riding aboard with the Red Bull. It's the team I'm driving for myself. Yesterday I won in Tier 2. Wouldn't mind seeing another win for Red Bull Racing. Is Skinner gonna get past on track as well? Would love to see that, and he's gonna go for the move. Simniak has got no ERS left. Ooh, bit of contact between the two. And Simniak trying to go the long way around the outside, but that's just not gonna work. And Skinner has got past, and he has taken the lead on the final lap of this race. Status is gonna hold on to P4, but Skinner across the line, and Skinner is gonna win in Silverstone. From the front row, I think it is, and Simniak is gonna finish in second place. Aston Martin P3 and P4 with Jumpy Painter on the podium. Stalos in P4, Parzival P5, Josh Boschman in 6th, Wardy, Twooster, Ricardo and Hasa rounding out the top 10. But what a performance that was from Skinner. Has got past Simniak on track as well on the final lap. So a very good result from him. And he from second on the grid, so for the second consecutive week. The number 2 on the grid has won the race. Valve Boton will finish 11th out of Madman, Pulse Ray, Soul Demon, Repugnant ahead of Soul Demon actually. And we will wait for Alpha Eyeball to cross the line in 16th place. But that was a very good race to watch. Very enjoyable, and actually no safety cars at all. That's quite the improvement. Wardy has been given the driver of the day. Started in 17th place, finished in 7th. Definitely a respectable drive. We look at the podium and the final results. Jumpy Painter from 11th to P3, Stalos from 15th to P4, Parzival from 12th to P5, Josh Boschman from 13th to 6th, Wiley from 17th to 7th, Carnator from 19th to 9th, Hazard from 18th to 10th. Incredible comeback drives from, well, almost everyone inside the top 10. What a race that was. And fast up of the race to Alpha and Paul will not get the point, but he's got it regardless. Skinner wins ahead of Simniak and Jumpy Painter. And in the championship, I think that's going to mean that Wardy will be taking the championship lead, or Status is going to be close as well. We'll have to see for after the stewarding and all that. See next week. And the next race on the calendar is Bahrain next week for round 3 of the season. So we will be back then. Hope you enjoyed this race. I certainly did. And I will see you guys next time around. Goodbye.